Good morning to you, my students of the second year. Today's lesson I have, as I said, a continuation of the previous subjects related to science. Again, I have issues with, the system of writing of my device right here. Anyways, so as I said, in the previous lesson I was talking about, chemistry and everything. Today's lesson I'll talk about physics. Some vocabularies in physics, some vocabularies in chemistry, and some vocabularies in biology, and then we'll start with an activity that is either an essay for you to translate or something like that. Okay, so the first sentence I have here is Gremon. Okay, Gremon in physiae adebe benamona. I do apologize, there are issues with, as I said, the writing system of this device. Now, whoa, sorry about that. Okay. So what does this say? Gremon in physiae adebe benamona. First, what is Gremon? In science, we have three things. We have a hypothesis, we have a theory, and we have a fact. The least scientific thing is a hypothesis. So a hypothesis is just someone based on very, 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 very limited evidence, produces or says something. Let's say there's a hypothesis that children who are not exposed to language in a certain period of time, they do not develop the ability to speak. That's a hypothesis by, I think, Russian psychologist Leninberg. So that's a hypothesis. In Kurdish is Gremoniye. Okay? Ne birduze, it's not birdus, it's not a theory. Theory isn't 100% correct either. A theory is an oscillating kind of, with regards to its truthness, or with regards to its truth value of something. A theory could be anywhere to 60-70%, right, but the rest of it is just falsely wrong, or it's just completely wrong, not falsely wrong. You cannot really have two words together. Anyways, so that's a birdus. Don't forget, as I said, Gremon is a hypothesis. It's not 100%. It's the least scientific thing. Okay, Gremon in physiae adebe benamona. So Gremon, as I said, is hypothesis. The translation is physics. Physiae, in this case, we say physics. Physics hypotheses. The plural form of hypothesis is hypotheses. Physics hypotheses are baseless, or without any base or any solid evidence. Next is lezatia ardina ki lezatia hayvea. Now, you may think of the word lezati as speed, but in fact, I do not mean speed here. Speed is correct, but when we use vocabularies in physics, just as much as any other science, we have specified vocabularies. So lezati, in this instance, in physics, is velocity. Okay? Velocity is something. So the velocity of the earth is not like the velocity of the moon. Earth's velocity isn't the same as the velocity of the moon. The same thing. There's no difference between the two sentences I produced right now. What about the next one? Pastono Hawaii. Again, paston, I'm pretty sure you know what the word paston is in English. Pressure. Yes, pressure. So, air pressure, paston Hawaii, in this case I'm talking about air pressure is measured by a certain specific device or specialized device. All of those translations are correct. So, the next word I have, paston, in English, it's pressure. Air pressure is measured by a specific device. That's the translation of this sentence right here. Next, هر تشتكي بارستيخو يهي. هر تشتكي بارستيخو يهي. Barista in English is mass, but what is mass? Mass is like something similar to qabara, but slightly different. We call it barista. That's at least what I found in the dictionary. But to give you an example of what mass is, you know a cup, let's say a cup of tea, yeah? You put a cup of tea, or yeah, wait a second. Let me think of something which is easier for you to understand. So mass is similar to weight somehow. So let me think of something which is easier for you to understand. So you see, some of the things in science require explanation because they're not easy to understand. So let me think about it. Wait a second. Mass. How do I give you? Let's say water has more mass than air. Okay, because it takes more. Sorry about that. Because it takes more space. Okay, so any space that is taken by something is taken because that thing has mass. Okay, it has mass. I hope it's understandable to you. Maybe you could discuss this more. So borste harjahekit bigritan. Okay, something like that. But not harjahekit bigritan. Borste bunwunaki nukanuno muguti. Mugutem borste ovi peterish borste hawai buchichki peter kabore jihid giritan. Peter jihid giritan. Okay, mass. And also the thickness of something. Let me give you another example. Okay, I'm hitting around the bush, but I'm pretty sure it's like this because I know what mass is. Like, you know, mass is something, it has more mass than something else. But maybe my explanation could be slightly erring when I explain it to you in Kurdish. But as I said, you know, the best example is that water has more mass than air because water takes more space. Okay, it takes more space. I could be wrong. I'll double check my information, but I'm certainly sure it's about that. So every object has mass. Okay, every object has mass. Correct. So every object. I translated to object. Okay, because in physics you have the word object used a lot. Everything in the world is an object. I could be an object. You could be an object. A cup of water could be an object. A kettle could be an object, and so on. Tawdan ulazoti ne'ek tishtan. I am sorry about that. Tawdan ulazoti. Now I did talk about lazoti earlier in the first sentence. I said lazoti isn't really speed, it's velocity. Okay? In physics we describe, well, speed isn't wrong as I said, but velocity is used more than, let's say, speed. You say that the velocity of the earth is so and so. The velocity of this object is this and that. Okay, that's called velocity. Tawdan is how something speeds up. Okay, speeds up. So let's say a car is moving at 80 miles per hour or 80 kilometers per hour, and then you press the accelerator. You press, as they say, the petrol pedal, you know, the pedal. You press it, you increase the acceleration. That object, which is the car in this case, is accelerating in what? In velocity. Okay? So velocity is anything that is stable, right? And acceleration is the added velocity to or the added velocity of an object. Okay, that's called acceleration. In Kurdish, tawdan. Okay, lazati and tawdan. Tawdan is acceleration. So tawdan or lazati ne'ek tishtan. Velocity and acceleration are not the same, or acceleration and velocity are not the same. Okay. Yeah, velocity. Maybe velocity is not the same as acceleration. All of these translations are correct. What do I have next? Hasarat baruduche bardawam dana. Now, baruduche bardawam or bardawami in physics terminology is inertia. Okay, it's called inertia. If a car is moving, okay, it has velocity. That's one. It could be accelerating at certain points if the driver decides to accelerate the velocity. 3, it has inertia. Okay, it's in the continuous state of what? Of velocity. The object is moving in a steady, continuous manner, in a steady, continuous way. So the moon, the Earth, has inertia, okay? Inertia, it means it's continuously moving at a certain velocity, at a certain velocity, okay? At a certain velocity. That whole thing is called inertia. The moving, going in a certain direction without any interactions from other objects or other sorts of, let's say, stars around the moon. It's going in a steady direction and at a certain velocity. That the whole process we call inertia. Okay. So how does planets? I'm sorry, planets, not stars. These are planets. I think I translated the stars. Okay, so planets are in a state of inertia. It means all of the planets have a certain velocity. They're continuously moving, okay? And or could be continuously stopping as well. The main point is that it's the continuity of something, okay? The continuity of either moving or stopping. It's called inertia. All right. Had you been in a classroom here on campus, we could have explained it to you using certain very simple experiments, which I could explain to you what inertia is easier or more easily than the way I'm doing it here, because I should have used some sort of visual aids to describe this topic better than I'm doing right now. Anyways, of karabi bash digehinit. Gehandina karab, or basically just the translation is conduction, okay? Conduction. Conduction is how electricity moves through something, all right? So let's say water is a good conductor. Conductor is the name of the object that allows electricity to go through it. Conduction is the process. So, sorry. Water is a good electricity conductor, or how did I translate it here? Water conducts electricity in a good manner. Okay, water conducts. I'm using it as a verb. Conducts. Water conducts electricity in a good manner. All right. What else? You have any other sentences? No. Okay. So that's about it for today's lesson. I think I had about 7 or 8 vocabularies. The next lesson I have vocabularies about biology, and then I'll give you a homework, sort of an assignment. Could be an essay about the 3 sciences with vocabularies we studied in these, electronic lessons. With that being said, thank you very much. I wish you a very good day and stay safe. Please take your precautions to protect yourselves against this coronavirus. Take care.